We've been saying that this was going to be a major rain event. It still is. And even though widespread flooding doesn't look to be very likely, still can get some isolated, localized flooding. And that may be what is occurring from Laplace down toward Luling. This has been upgraded from a street flood advisory to a flash flood warning. Heavy rainfall accumulations associated with the storm that is basically just sitting from the Laplace area, kind of along Highway 90, along the river down toward Luling. So all the communities in between here, standing water certainly likely across that region. And again, it doesn't look like the rain is really letting up all too quickly, so anticipate more more accumulations, I should say, in this area. And rainfall thus far today has been more spotty in terms of the heavier rains. Don't really have anything south of the lake. Did get some bigger downpours around the metro area a little earlier. North Shore also kind of drying out. Looking out toward downtown, mostly cloudy skies. At least the clouds and rainfall have helped to keep our temperatures down. Now, the storms themselves through the night tonight will likely start winding down after about 10 o'clock, and then we'll have a drier period through most of the overnight. Can't rule out maybe a few rumbles of thunder, but it looks like as we get into some afternoon or mid-morning and daytime heating, we'll start to see more of these showers bubbling up. Rain coverage, though, does look to be a little bit less. We're going to about a 70, maybe 80% at the most for our Friday, and then Saturday rain chances even lower still, as well as a flooding risk much lower. In terms of the accumulative totals around the area, generally everyone saw less than a ½ inch, and in some instances not much at all, only 1/1800ths up in Slidell. Almost a ½ inch of rainfall at Lakefront, but Kenner only received 1/1700ths of an inch. Obviously we're getting more totals adding up in the river parishes right now. Look at Morgan City, over 2.5 inches of rainfall. All the models anticipated that that would be where most of the heavy rains would set up, and that really has been the case. We've also been seeing, and I'm sure you have heard, that there is a possibility as this is drawn northward, it may try and come back around per one of the models. Well, that's not entirely true. Here's what's going to be happening. We've got this upper high that is generally up to our north and also extends out to the east. This pattern is going to draw that moisture northward, and over time around this high it's going to come back at us. The moisture, that is. In terms of the energy associated with Invest 93, that is actually moving toward the west. What we're going to be watching going into next week is a little piece of energy coming off of an east coast trough and a disturbance coming in from the Bahamas. These features kind of merge with that moisture and possibly try and do something in the Gulf as we get into the middle to end of next week. Right now, though, the models are not aggressive with anything. It looks to be, at this time, just another round of some tropical rains heading our way. And we'll focus more on that after we are done with Invest 93, because again, we still can see some localized high amounts. Anticipate through tomorrow and even going into Saturday, adding another 1 to 2+ inches of rainfall on already fairly wet ground, which is why the flood watch in effect until Friday night, and it may be reassessed to see if it needs to be extended into Saturday. Again, widespread 2 to 4 possible. We haven't seen that yet today. That's possible though tomorrow. And then isolated totals could be anywhere from 6 to 8 inches. Again, those are going to be more in isolated locations, not widespread. Of course, if one of those isolated locations happens to be over the city, then we got some bigger problems. So our tropical impacts will continue through Friday with more rounds of rain, although we also get frequent breaks in those heavier rains. Watch the forecast. Again, as we had mentioned, I'm going to be updating every hour on WWL Plus through the night tonight, just kind of tracking basically where the rain is right now and where it's moving to. Temperatures, though, as you got into the clouds and rain, 70s and 80s, although a little bit more sunshine up at Bogalusa. They were in the 90s during the day today. We'll keep our rain chances on the high side for Friday. Starting to taper off, still kind of an above average rain chance on Saturday at about 60%. Sunday, though, we start drying out. That upper high I was pointing out, that builds in through about Wednesday, keeping us hot. Then our rain chances start picking back up as we head toward the middle to end of next week.